Good morning, I'm Lisa Trapani.
And I'm Don Nelson. Coming up next on Good Morning Houston, ABC's correspondents Jeff Greenfield and Cokie Roberts.
Taking home a piece of Texas.
An innovative invention to keep your tie spot-free at mealtime.
Have I told you yet today how much I like that tie?
Well, this is going to be so great, folks. Gather around the set. This segment has to do with the true spirit of this country as we speak in a moment. This is a very expensive tie on loan. By the way, silk ties are real popular. Men are wearing these wild flags, and they're expensive. This one's very expensive. So you go to a restaurant,
right,
and they're having, you know, Mexican food or Italian food, lots of sauce, and blop.
Or you work on this show, you're
Right.
doing a food segment, and you're spilling.
Someone saw the need to protect this investment. And when you see the need, that's the first spark to the entrepreneur to say, hey, why don't we do this? To my right, Sid Martinez and Ronnie Gabriel. They represent a couple of thoughts collected, put together on paper, and now a company called TieGuard out of San Antonio that puts together this incredible, great little promotional idea. Welcome to our program.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
What were you doing prior to this is what I want to know.
Well, believe it or not, I'm in the wine and spirits business.
Right.
And
so you were spilling red wine all over a silk tie?
Exactly, and running a lot of ties.
And what were you doing?
I was looking for a job, believe it or not, and that's how the concept started.
But you were sitting somewhere, I mean, tell me about that moment.
Well, I was eating a hamburger, and some of the grease fell on my tie prior to the interview. And that's why I wound up going to the job interview, but I didn't get the job. But I don't know if it had anything to do with the stain. But
that was fake, you see, intervening there, you know?
I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Now, this is, let's get a little tight cut. This has a little plastic kind of a clip on it, like this little bend thing you put on a garbage bag. Now, this fits underneath your tie.
Snug right around the tie.
And what a snappy little logo you have on there.
Oh, yeah, isn't that nice?
Here, I can't do this in reverse.
Here, we'll do it for you.
Okay, you're fixing it up there.
There you go.
Now, go ahead, keep talking now. So what's the plan with this?
So you had your contacts being in that business with restaurants, right? Ron, I mean, you had contacts at restaurants being in the wine and spirits industry. So you went back and said, look, I know this, if you know me by doing this, but here's an idea, and they
loved it, right. Mainly, it's national companies that we're looking at, too. The large national companies, you know, like here's Salsa Tequila, and they were smart enough to capitalize on a public convention, which has gone over just great.
So they would send them to the restaurants. People who are selling to the restaurants would include them in their shipments, Ron? I'm trying to figure out your distribution here.
Exactly. What they do is these national companies actually order these and give them to restaurants to promote their item, and that's where it comes in. It's such a conversation piece at a table when they put it on, and I think that's what they like about it is it's never been done before.
You can charge your tie.
Item. And here's this other thing.
Charge your tie, and then you can. Oh, there goes the restaurant right here.
Yeah, that's one of our.
So it's pennies to the customer. I mean, it's a great little promotion. You come in and you just put on old TieGuard.
Exactly, and it's penny to the national companies or the restaurants that order it, and I think they get it double fold in advertising.
You just started in San Antonio now, right? Now you're going coast to coast.
Well, we're going national, and what's helping us do that are the national companies that order in these and distribute them nationally. So we're not even having to do that work.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
39.
Realizing that big American dream.
Well, I tell you, we are really excited about how fast it's moving.
The name of the company is called TieGuard.
TieGuard.
And they get a hold of you by calling?
San Antonio. Look, information has our number. We can give you the phone number ourselves. It's 512-734-5744.
We wish you the best.
Yeah.
One day we'll be seeing international flags on there because it'll be a global idea, I'm sure.
Or people that sell men's clothes, tie companies and things like that. That's a great promotion. What a great idea.
Well, good luck.
Thank
you need to come up with one for women because we're just as messy, actually.
We're working on that. We're working on that.
Okay, good.
It's called a bib.
Still to come, the answer to those ugly stains on men's ties.
You'll hear about the invention of TieGuards when we return.
Two San Antonio men are capitalizing on a problem common to men who wear ties to work and to lunch. Curtis Nichols has the story of a new way to solve a messy old problem: tie stains.
It's an idea that just might catch on. A little added protection for an often expensive and always hard to clean part of a man's wardrobe. This is the TieGuard.
Fits on the back of the tie. And the reason you got a clasp on top is so that you can adjust it to the length of the tie.
Designed and marketed by two San Antonio men who were tired of minor mealtime mishaps having a major impact on their wallets. The final straw was a blob of mustard which landed on Sid Martinez's tie minutes before an important meeting. That night, the idea came to him.
Cut a pattern out of some wax sandwich paper and made it into the shape of a tie. And I got as far as the tie pattern, but I did not have a method of securing it to the neck.
So we went, he came to me, we perfected a way to keep the napkin on the tie with a clip and a way to keep the tie in place in the back.
I wish I'd thought of that. Those words from almost everyone who's seen the TieGuard, and no doubt Gabriel and Martinez are glad they did. Orders have already been received for more than 1 million TieGuards for national distribution, and 100,000 more emblazoned with the Bush Quail re-election logo are being designed for the Republican National Convention. TieGuard will be produced at Diversified Printing, a San Antonio company which expects to double its staff to near 50 people as more orders come in. And judging from lunch crowd response, more orders will come in.
I think it's a good idea. When you spend $20, $30 on a tie, it's good to be able to protect it, especially when you're eating sloppy food like this. A shirt you can always wash, but if you get silk and you get that soiled, you might as well throw the tie away.
Mr. Arredondo didn't tell us how many ties he's actually thrown away, but he says he ruins about one a month. Now with TieGuard, he'll have a lot more money to spend on hot sauce. Curtis Nichols, KSAT 12 News.
And they're a lot more stylish than just tucking your tie into your shirt or wearing a napkin.
They could put a KSAT 12 logo on yours, Bob.
At least they'd know what station I'm from.
Right.
Some say the necktie dates back to the court of King Louis XIV of France, who decorated himself with a scarf around the neck.
And others trace it to 16th century England when men secured their shirts around their neck with a loose string. You like this tie? Whenever it began, the necktie brings with it serious problems. On the porch tonight, Jim Swift tells us a solution is at hand.
Have you ever spilled anything on your tie?
Once or twice.
Sloppy kind of guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Have you ever spilled anything nasty on yours?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all the time. That's why I wear these now, is I try to color coordinate my meals with my ties.
It's an ugly tie, but if it were a good one, would you be worried about spilling stuff on it?
I certainly would.
Spilled food on the necktie. It is a common lament in the male world, especially when it happens as it did to Sid Martinez right before a job interview.
I wound up going to the interview with a glob of mustard on my tie, you know, and needless to say, well, I didn't get the job, you know. I didn't get the job.
Instead of getting a job, Martinez got mad. He vowed he would never again ruin a necktie.
What I did was I went and got some sandwich wrap paper, and I laid the tie on the table, and I cut a pattern on it because I knew that repels the grease. And so I cut it in the shape of a tie.
And so was born a new product called TieGuards. Martinez found a San Antonio factory to produce them and started selling them to major companies who will in turn distribute them to restaurants. With his business partner, Ronnie Gabriel, Martinez has invested some $15,000 in his patented product. So far, orders have reached the $800,000 mark.
What if somebody came up to you and said, why don't you put this over your tie like that? What would you think of that idea?
That would work.
It would work, yeah.
But would it? Really?
I'll certainly give it a try, especially with hot sauce on the table. See if it works.
You sloppy pig.
That's terrific. It really works. That's terrific.
One of TieGuard's biggest accounts so far is Salsa Commemorativo Tequila. They've ordered 200,000 tie protectors, and 25,000 of those are a bit unusual. They're emblazoned with the GOP elephant, just in time to be distributed at the Republican National Convention.
We'll get the free advertisement out of it, and maybe we'll have to just buy new cars.
Out on the porch, Jim Swift, News 36, Nightcast.
I wish I'd thought of that. This works pretty well.
See, we miss out on everything. The pet rock, the mood ring, and now this. We've missed it. But, you know, sure enough, it'll hit your shirt instead of the tie now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Some say the necktie dates back to the court of King Louis XIV of France, who decorated himself with a scarf around his neck. And others trace it to 16th century England, when men secured their shirts around their neck with a little string. Whenever it began, the necktie brings with it serious problems, but a solution is at hand. Ties have become a distinct part of a man's wardrobe. You could say for some it's even a subtle fashion statement that can turn into a pretty big investment. So what do they do to protect that investment?
Normally I'll put it inside my shirt or slip it over my shoulder or something, and there goes the shirt, you know. So it's something you really have to concentrate on as a man wearing a tie, you know, what you're eating and how you're eating it.
Thanks to these two men, the worry of ruining the tie is gone for good. They've just invented the TieGuard. Sid Martinez was having lunch and dropped some mustard on his tie, took it to the cleaners, and was told it couldn't be cleaned. So he took matters into his own hands.
And then I came home and got some wax paper, sandwich wrap paper, and cut a pattern out, laid the tie down on the table, and cut a pattern over it, and got as far as the tie pattern, but not a method of securing it to the neck, to the knot of the tie. And I got with my friend Ronnie, who I've known for a long time, and Ronnie and his wife were very instrumental, and they came up with the way of securing it to the knot. And after that, the rest is history.
With the idea in hand, all Martinez needed was a marketing plan. In steps business partner Ronnie Gabriel.
National companies were where we looked at because they have the money to promote their product, whether it be food, beer, water, mineral water, whatever it may be. And that's where we looked at it. Look for national companies, and they really like the idea, and that's why I think we're going to be successful as we are now.
So successful that just this past week, Republicans dining at local restaurants were handed a unique kind of souvenir.
Good. The ties over here? How about a TieGuard for you? Oh, you got to have one of these. Yeah. Souvenir? There you go. Keep one for souvenir, if anything, even if you wear a tie, you know.
I think my wife is going to really appreciate this. This is just a great savings.
TieGuards are produced right here in Texas, San Antonio to be exact. And as a result of this new business venture, jobs are being created to hopefully fill the demand. Now, will there be a large demand, and can this venture go nationwide?
Yes, I mean, it's pretty good. As you can see, I don't have anything on my tie, and it's got bush on it, so why not wear it? It's just great. It helps to keep myself clean. I mean, especially for the convention, you have to look good for George and everything. So, as long as people remember that there's a little thing on the back here, tack your thing on. If you don't, like I did, and you miss, get a big stain like that. They work great, though.
Well, maybe phase 2 for TieGuards will be tie bibs.